Hello, the Pioneer viewers. As you know, our agenda is the Russia-Ukraine war. We continue to bring you all the developments regarding the war. The mutual attacks of the parties have been increasing in recent days, and both sides are trying to organize intensive operations to increase their war gains. The primary target of the Ukrainian army's operations is Russia's strategic points. Focusing on destroying strategic targets, the Ukrainian army is identifying and attacking specific points for the purpose. This has been Ukraine's main strategy since it's launched a counterattacks. The Russian army, on the other hand, is trying to organize new operations to forget its recent failures, and important developments are also taking place in international politics. The sanctions against Russia are getting tougher. Security efforts and support for Ukraine are on the agenda of European countries. Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine has been going on for a long time, and throughout the war, Russia has struggled and failed to achieve its objectives. Surprised by the strong resistance of the Ukrainian army, Russia's plans have not succeeded. The Russian army has experienced a process in which its capabilities have been increasing, limited, and lost. The Russian army suffered heavy losses in offensive operations organized by the Ukrainian army, and the Ukrainian army used low-cost weapons and destroyed very expensive Russian weapons. And when a significant part of the Russian navy was destroyed in the Black Sea, the sirens of danger began to sound for Moscow. The support to the Ukrainian army has also strengthened the Ukrainian army day by day. The allegations that emerged in the past days surprised those who had heard them. According to the allegations, Russian authorities are using citizens as human shields. Now, if you are ready, let's examine the latest developments together. As the Pioneer, we continue to convey the Russia-Ukraine war to you. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so that you don't miss our daily map reports and reports on the agenda. I also read all of your comments on our videos. Please continue to share your ideas about our content on the comments with us. Let's start if you are ready, the Pioneer reports. The news that emerged in the past few days gathered a great reaction. According to the Ukrainian military intelligence, Russian authorities are using their own citizens as human shields while resisting calls by pro-Ukrainian forces to evacuate the Belgorod and Kursk border regions. According to reports prepared by the Ukrainian military intelligence, Russian authorities are using their own citizens as human shields against rebel groups in the region. 3 Russian rebel units that crossed over the Ukraine to fight against Russia have called on the Russian President Vladimir Putin to order the evacuation of their positions in the region for the cities of Belgorod and Kursk. The group said that they would attack Russian positions in the region and demanded that the Russian army withdraw. Otherwise, they would be finished. The group said in a joint statement the other day that they were forced to launch an attack on military positions. Russian rebel groups call on everyone to leave the cities immediately to avoid civilian casualties. We call on local authorities to save people's lives and evacuate the cities of Kursk and Belgorod. Ukrainian Defense Intelligence spokesman Andriy Yusuf said on Ukrainian television that the Russian authorities ignored the warning and instead chose to endanger residents to protect Putin's terror regime. The residents are being deliberately prevented from evacuating, and the Russian authorities don't allow the inhabitants to move anywhere. The aim is to prevent a Ukrainian attack by using the civilians as a pretext. Moscow's approach has provoked strong reactions. Yusuf says that the city's residents are being prevented from using major transportation hubs that would allow them to leave the city. Russia's attempts to protect its interests in the region by using civilians as a pretext have sparked outrage, especially in the international politics. The people of Russia who are experiencing restless days due to the war have also reacted against Moscow's attitude. Russian rebel groups, on the other hand, said that they would apply their own methods if they did not receive a response to their call to Moscow. The groups, collectively known as the Siberian Battalion, announced earlier this week that they had crossed into the Russian territory. They said that they were working to lift their fellow Russians out of poverty under Putin, stating that they don't want authoritarian attitudes and practices of Putin administration. The groups stated that Putin must go for good of the Russian people. The members of the battalion, mostly ethnic minorities, said that they joined the Ukrainian side because of the discrimination they faced in Russia and their opposition to Putin's war. The systematic discrimination against minority groups in Russia makes life difficult for many citizens, and therefore, as a natural reaction, minorities take part in rebel groups. The Siberian Battalion announced that they have established a humanitarian corridor to allow civilians and Russian military personnel to freely leave the specific settlements. We also call for the urgent evacuation of residents of the following settlements in border areas, and the statement said, "Save your lives and the lives of your children," the battalion spokesman continued. They said they know that Putin's troops are hiding among civilians, and therefore our task is to ensure maximum security for the local population. Prior to the battalion's claim this week, there were many indications that Russia was willing to use Ukrainians as human shields. Shortly before Russia's illegal annexion of Crimea in 2014, Putin warned that the Russian troops would stand behind the people in Ukraine and force Kiev's troops to shoot their own people. Also last December, several reports and images were published showing Russian troops using as human shields Ukrainian soldiers captured while fighting in the close quarters in Zaporizhia region of Ukraine. Russia's use of human shields careers with its many criminal liabilities, and this approach, which does not completely with the laws of the war, will bring big problems with Russia in the future. Seeing that the Ukrainian army is getting stronger day by day, Russian authorities are trying to make moves to prevent this. However, the moves of the Russian authorities are not enough to stop the Ukrainian army, and the Ukrainian military intelligence is closely following the movements of the Russian army. And the Ukrainian military intelligence, which has achieved important successes on the front line since the beginning of the war, is reaching important information for operations. What do you think about the scandalous events taking place in Russia? To what extent do you think Russia's human shield approaches can attract public reaction? What do you think might be the common concern of the people of Russia and the people of Ukraine? How do you assess the work of the Ukrainian military intelligence? I care about your opinion, so please share it with me.